Well, good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Don't Argue, of course. And don't forget, it's all thanks to Palmerbet, but don't forget to check out the Origin special too with Benny Hannity, the Polar Bear, and Kurt Gidley. And Gids, that was a whole lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it escalated pretty quickly, Matty, with Big Benny Hannett. You know, he's got a bit of fire and power, mate, with some of the trophies he's picked up. But, mate, yeah, those Queenslanders, they're not very humble in their winnings, mate.
No, I must admit, I didn't even really say, but I'm on the Blues with you, mate. I couldn't go past my old mate. I can't go against you, big fella. Hey, listen, happy birthday too. Big 40th celebration on the weekend up in Newcastle, mate. How did it all end up, all right?
Yeah, well, mate, it was a fancy dress up, and I'm still rocking my last bit of the fancy dress here. It takes me about 6 months to grow a mo, so I'm going to hold on it for a little bit longer.
I love it, mate. Absolutely magnificent.
Yeah.
Some great photos doing the rounds too, which is just sensational.
Yeah, we might get a few up, mate.
For you.
Yeah, it was, mate. It was a great time to catch up with a lot of my ex-teammates, and some of the guys who I looked up to. I didn't play with the big Chiefo, but I spent a bit of time with him doing some training early in the mornings. But yeah, blokes like Chief, Mark Hughes, Big Matty Parsons. Like, remember Parso played at South and also won a grand final at Newcastle. Daniel Abraham, Russell Richardson, the list goes on and on, mate. So yeah, great crew. It was like a reunion, and it was a fair old hit out too. Got the karaoke happening, mate. And the dance floor was pumping, so good times.
I love it, mate. I want to see. I've seen photos, but I want to see the video footage of you singing a bit of karaoke and busting a move on the dance floor, Gids.
Mate, I'll shoot that through to you. Lit up the dance floor. Quite literally lit up the dance floor.
I bet you did. Hey, listen, let's have a look at round 13 action last week. And everything probably went to script, to be honest. Cowboys are comfortable over the Titans. Panthers got the job done against the Bulldogs. Sea Eagles easily over the Warriors. Probably the only game, Gids, I thought was a little bit of a turn-up was probably the Raiders winning over the Roosters by 6 points. They still had a fairly strong side, the Roosters, didn't they?
They did, mate. Yeah, I must say I was a little bit dusty, and I had to crack a couple of cans during this game yesterday afternoon just to even myself out. But yeah, mate, a great game by the Raiders. I mean, they've surprised me. I don't know about surprising themselves. I'm sure their expectations would be to be in the 8 this year. But mate, they've just been showing plenty of grit and determination. Like, I think we go back to that Magic weekend where they upset the Sharks. Big win, like tough and gritty win. Yeah. And this one was probably similar. The Roosters probably on paper still. I think last week I was commenting how strong the Roosters team with 3 of their top players out, and mate, really tough, gritty win. Looked cold down there. It looked icy and cold, and there's been a little bit of rain about. So they're always tough conditions. Those ones are to play in. But mate, I just thought they played tough. They were resilient, and they deserved the win.
One of the toughest road trips I reckon Canberra would be. So they're 4-1 their last 5 games. They're obviously going to be really pushing for that top 8 finish, aren't they, Gids?
I think so, mate. I think they're only sort of 2 points outside of the 8. Mate, one thing I picked up, Matty, when I looked at some stats today was they're only minus 30-odd points, I think it is, where the next team underneath them, like you're talking minus 120, 130. So,
yeah, right.
They're only 2 points outside of the 8, but their for and against is looking really strong too.
Yeah, love it. Hey, listen, what about the
Maybe I'll just quick story about the cold down there really quickly.
Yeah.
Adam McDougall, not a big fan of the cold or playing in those type of conditions. He tried to play in full skins outfit underneath his playing kit one year.
What, and the pants, everything?
Arms, pants, everything. Socks and shorts and jersey over the top. And the refs pulled it up, said, "Nah, mate, you can't play in all that."
Really? Would they have done it if it was a skin colour? Like if it had been like this? Is it because it was
maybe because it was one in the original days when they were first coming out. So Duke thought, bugger this, I'm not playing staying on the wing in this freezing cold. Great. So he would have played in a beanie, I reckon, if he could have.
Hey, what about the Titans and the Warriors, mate? Currently sitting second last and third last. Where to do you think for these teams? They just in patches, they look like, they're improving and all that kind of stuff, kids, but it's just hard to get any consistency out of them.
Yeah, they are. Look, it's really, really tough time for the coaches. I think I watched Justin Holbrook's press conference after the game. I felt sorry for him. He just looked almost broken because the Titans have been in the lead for a number of games in the first half, and I think it's pretty well
punching,
documented that their second half falls away. And, Brownie's been through a few pretty tough years, certainly at Newcastle. He won a comp over in the UK and the Knights signed him at that stage and went through a pretty tough period here. And then, it hasn't got much better for him at the Warriors. So, yeah, two coaches.
I'm going to ask you, so that second half fade out, is that mental? Is it fitness? What is it?
Well, mate, it becomes, unfortunately, a bit of a habit. And maybe the players, they'd be aware of that. They'd be talking about second half performances, about energy and about execution. But once the tide turns and obviously the other team gets a bit of can sniff a bit of blood, then maybe just mentally they're not as resilient and tough enough to overcome that momentum shift in the second halves.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, what about the Panthers, mate? They just keep rolling on at the moment. They were missing, obviously, a lot of Origin stars. They absolutely dismantled the Bulldogs. Their next 5 games, they've got the Knights, the Warriors, the Roosters, the Tigers, and the Sharks. So it's, they could very well and very easily navigate their way through all those teams.
Well, yeah, there were some question marks, obviously, about going into last week's game about missing so many star players. They still had a pretty sharp lineup with their current players they had last week, and obviously they've done a great job. That just goes back to the depth of the club. It's not just first grade that are excelling. I imagine their reserve grade's going pretty strong as well. Their 20s, their whole pathways has been, again, well documented. That Gus done a great job in setting that up, and they're probably seeing the fruits of their labour now. That any player that steps into first grade, believes they should be there, and it's a great opportunity as a young bloke to be able to prove yourself while some of the star players are out.
Absolutely, mate. No,
interesting, mate, to see if they rest any of their players. Which
well, that was going to be the next question, Gids. Do they rest a few now? Do they kind of get them through this little Origin period, and rebuild, I suppose, for the back half of the season?
Well, I think that'd be, Ivan Cleary take plenty of confidence, mate, from last week's game where they were missing some Origin players. So I think that'll give him some confidence that he probably would rest Nathan Cleary, Isaiah Yeo, for example, guys who play big minutes, do plenty of workload. I think he'd be pretty content that he'd give him a rest maybe after this one. All depends how they go in the game too. Depends how much work they get through if they get knocked around But you want them there at the back end of the season. That's the main thing.
Hey, let's have a look at round 14 action in the NRL, of course. Cowboys taking on the Dragons. This is Friday night, Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Head-to-head, Cowboys $1.20, Dragons $4.50. At the line, the Cowboys minus 12.5 at $1.90 Gids. Key stats, they split the games last season. This is the other one, though. Cowboys have won 7 out of their last 8 games. They are in good nick. Only loss was to the Panthers.
Yeah, they are in good nick, Matty, and mate, they're just it looks like they're really happy. They're playing with plenty of belief, and their game plan looks great. I know there was sort of a bit of talk around whether Scott Drinkwater would hold his position at fullback, but mate, he's really sharp. He's great at the back. He seems to be able to have that finishing pass to his wingers, playing at fullback, playing that sweep role. So they're looking really sharp at the moment. Todd Payton. He seems to be, really comfortable in his role. I spoke to Michael Hager, mate, who's been doing a little bit of coaching consulting with those guys up there, and said, mate, it's good vibe around the group, and he likes Todd's coaching style. It'd be interesting again whether he rests any of the players backing up from Origin. This game's only 2 days after the Origin in Sydney, so I would think he might be looking at resting one or two of his players coming out of that game too.
Which way are you going, Gids?
Still going to stick with the Cowboys, mate, in this one.
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Easy?
Mate, no, because I'm worried they might rest one or two of their Origin players, depending on what the result of that game is. So I'm just going to go Cowboys, mate, head-to-head here on this one.
Yeah, right. Beautiful, mate. Let's move along. Saturday, 3 p.m, Seabus Stadium. It's the Titans taking on the Rabbitohs. Head-to-head, Titans $2.75. Rabbits $1.45 at the line. The Rabbits minus 6.5 at $1.90. South won both clashes last season, and they've won their last 6 against the Titans. Can you see the Gold Coast Titans causing an upset here at all, Gids?
No, I can't, mate. I just know, just looks like they're in a pretty tough slump at the moment. As I say, the coach looked pretty rattled after the game there last week. I think they were the first team to score last week, so they got off to a good start. But again, just maintaining an 80-minute performance has been a challenge for them. It's, it looks like they're trying, they're working.
I just reckon they might just, the Rabbits are a bit susceptible at times too, and they're going there'll be a few that'll be backing up. So I just reckon that maybe the Titans are the value this round.
Potentially, mate, there is some good value there for the Titans, but yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Rabbits. I think we've seen Latrell Mitchell just comes back from the States after rehabbing his hammy, and he's out with COVID. So they would have liked him back straight out of the States. Looks like he's spent plenty of hard work over there to try and rehab his hamstring and work on his body. But I'm going to stick with the Rabbits on this one. But I'm going to give away the start, mate. So -6.5, and you get about $1.90 in return there.
I'm going to go the Titans, mate. I'm going to have one Titans chance and a bit of price. Hey, Saturday 5:30, SCG Roosters v the Storm, head-to-head. Roosters 2.75, Storm $1.45 at the line. The Storm -6.5, $1.90. Storm won both clashes last year, and they've won 4 straight against the Roosters. Will they continue it this week, Gids?
Don't know. I've gone against the Storm for this one.
Hey, hang on
again. Yeah, I just think there should be a reaction from response from last week from the Raiders game. So there's a few guys penciled in to back up for the Storm as well. Which, look, as a past player, everyone wants to put their hand up and back up after Origin. It's the right thing to do. Is back up and play again for your teammates. You can be on a real high, obviously, but there's still certainly some body soreness and some fatigue getting over that Origin game. But I think most players put their hand up, but I'm just going to sit with the Roosters, mate, on this one. I think this can be, by the looks of it, an upset. Roosters at some better odds, and I'm going to take them head-to-head, 2.75.
Gee whiz, wash your mouth out, kids. I can't believe you're tipping against my little...
Hey, when's your man back? Pappenhausen.
I reckon he'd be another week or two, wouldn't he, with that hammy?
Yeah, I think so, yep. They won't want to rush him, that's for sure.
No, there's no rush, mate. He's a gun. He's a jet. Big Ryan.
No, they miss him, yeah.
Do miss him. Hey, let's move along to the Broncos Raiders Saturday night, 7:35, Suncorp Stadium, of course. Raiders are on fire at the moment, but the Broncos have opened up $1.45. Raiders 2.75 at the line. The Broncos -6.5, $1.90. Key stats: Raiders have won last 3 clashes against the Broncos. Okay, that is important. Broncos are on a 6-game winning streak. We spoke about the Raiders. They're in good nick at the moment as well. Selwyn Cobbo has 8 tries in his last 4 games. This has got plenty in it, this contest.
Yeah, I wrote down, mate, match of the round, this one for me. Again, mate, Broncos have been on fire at the moment. And, looking at their celebrations in their dressing room after their last win, mate, everyone's in a good place. And they're pretty happy, and they're executing their plays. Reynolds has obviously found some great form for them at the moment. Selwyn Cobbo, mate, he's scoring, more than twice a game, I think, by the looks of that. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes in Origin. It's I'm on the Bronx with this one. Yeah, I'm not sure if the Raiders can. Oh, I don't know if they've got the
different kettle of fish on the road, isn't it? They go from a very, very cold Canberra up to a pretty warm Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I imagine it'd be a great crowd again for that one up there on Saturday night, 7:30. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos, mate, on this one. And Broncos give away the start, 6.5 start for $1.90.
Righto.
Should look at a little multi there, mate. Broncos less 6.5 start, and Cobbo anytime try scorer.
Yeah, love it, mate. Well, he's in good nick, isn't he, at the moment?
Yeah.
Tries in his last 4 games. That's two a game. That is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's going well, that.
Hey, Tigers v the Manly Sea Eagles, Sunday, 2 p.m, Campbelltown Sports Ground. Tigers 2.45, Sea Eagles $1.55. At the line, the Sea Eagles -4.5, $1.90. Sea Eagles have won their last clash against the Tigers. Ruben Garrick has 4 tries in his last 3 games. I don't know, but Manly were good last week. But just backing it up, and to be honest, I reckon the Tigers, they haven't been too bad the last 6 or 7 weeks, Gids.
Yeah, they've been close, mate. They turned it around there when they were heavily under pressure, and Madge was, all but gone at one stage. But yeah, they turned it around
for them. I've got a soft spot.
Yeah, I think a lot of fans do it this year because they were just under the pump and always on a headline. And they turned it around for a couple of weeks. And they had a couple of close losses. Look, I'm going to go with the Eagles on this one. I like Schuster at 5'8" there last week. I thought his ball skills were amazing for a big guy, light on his feet. I love Ruben Garrick. He seems to always pick up a try. He's a great goal kicker, picks up plenty of points. And I think, mate, it shows the class of Jake Trbojevic there last week. Unfortunately didn't get picked for the Origin squad at all. And just a great leader for his team and his club. And, I've seen his comments in the press conference after the game where he was just so humble that he was disappointed that he missed out, but he was, very humble and very respectful of the Blues team and why they selected someone else.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely brilliant, mate. Hey, let's move along to your Newcastle Knights, kids. They take on the might of the Penrith Panthers, of course, Sunday, 4:05 p.m. Head-to-head, the Knights are $4.50, Panthers $1.20 at the line. Panthers minus 14.5 at $1.90. Panthers won their round 3 clash 38-20. It was a walloping. Panthers are on a 4-game win streak. Knights have lost 9 of their last 10 games, kids. Come on, mate.
Yuck.
What's going on? What is going on, big fella?
That's a terrible stat, that. I thought it was a misprint there, Matty. Lost 9 of the last 10 games. That's not ideal, mate. And you know what? I started to reflect on where it started to turn. You know when it turned? When the Knights played the Panthers earlier in the year, and Mitch Barnett raised his elbow, sent off, 6 weeks suspended. And mate, literally from that moment, that changed our season. And not that I'm blaming Mitch for that, but the response from there, I still thought they fought during that game with 12 men for 60 minutes, but that was dead set the turning point in the Knights' year, and haven't really recovered to find any consistent form since. So I love my club, love the Knights, but I'm going to find it hard to back them in this one.
Yeah, right, eh? Yeah.
I mean, look at the Panthers, what they did last week without their Origin players. So
they just replace, don't they? They step up to the plate, mate. The players they bring in, they just follow the team structure and away they go.
Yeah, it's a very clinical team, mate. And any player that steps into someone else's position, they know their role and they do it well.
Next game, Warriors v Sharks, Sunday, 6:15 p.m. Warriors head-to-head, $4. Sharks $1.25. At the line, Sharks minus 12.5, $1.90. Sharks won their round 9 clash 29-10. They give them a touch-up that night. Sharks haven't won 2 straight since round 5. That's an interesting stat.
Right.
So,
wow.
So they've been win-loss, win-loss. So there you go, mate. What do you reckon? Any upset or just Sharks get the job done?
Yeah, geez, that's an interesting stat. I haven't won 2 since round 5. I wouldn't have believed that, man, if it wasn't on paper here tonight. Because, man, as I say,
I've like these stats out, kids, each week, mate. I don't make them up.
You do your research, Matty. Mate, you're on fire. But look, I think the Sharks were in my top 4. I had them at the start of the year. I think they're comfortable winners in this one. Even giving away the staff. There's 12.5 start there for almost double your money. And look, I think their form's been great. The Sharks, since the year's kicked off, they've been through a bit of suspension. They've lost a couple of guys, lost a couple of injuries, but Craig Fitz is doing a great job there. Sharks for me.
Righto, mate. Final game, Bulldogs taking the Eels Monday, 4 p.m. Of course, Stadium head-to-head. Bulldogs $5. Eels $1.18 at the line. Eels minus 13.5, $1.90. Eels have won 4 straight against the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs are on a 5-game losing streak. Hard to see them breaking it here, kids.
Yeah, I think it might be 6, mate, after this one. Look, the Eels, I think there's one or 2 blokes in Origin off the top of my head, but, still bloody great lineup, great team list that's going to be taking the park here. Tough time for the Bulldogs at the moment, but I can see a real blowout score for this one. And I jumped on the Palmerbet app, and there's a margin of Eels to win by 26 to 30 points, and it's $9.25.
Wow!
I think it's going to be I think it could be a blowout score, this one.
Is that going to be your best value? All thanks to Palmerbet for the weekend.
That's exactly what it is, man. That's my best bet. Palmerbet.
Love it.
$9.25, mate. I've got a. That's my best value, but I've just looked up the man of the match, and I'm going to get some good value here for Isaiah Yeo, $12 for man of the match. I think he comes into Origin as one of the best players in the competition. Great ball player, great point of difference as far as the attack for not just the Panthers, but now New South Wales team. Beautiful. And then, super tough work ethic as well. So $12, mate, man of the match, Isaiah Yeo.
Why not? And I know we touched on it in our Origin special, but what about first try scorer, Gids?
First try scorer, mate, I'm going to go Tedesco.
Yep, love it.
Tedesco, first try scorer.
Yeah, he's in good form himself. Well, I'm going my little bit of value for the weekend. I reckon the Titans can upset the Rabbits. I reckon they're going to get off to an absolute flyer again, and they're going to hang on this week, Gids.
Well, mate, I hope you're right. They're just, it's hard to see, those teams that struggle and are under the pump, and they're working hard. So, yeah, and especially the coaches when they've got to front up the pressy after the game. It's a tough gig when you're under pressure, and mate, they'll be working super hard. They'll be cutting video after video, and just not quite bringing it together. So I hope you're right with that one, mate.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, as always, and I've even sported the hat tonight, Palmer bet.
Yeah, that looks sharp, that.
Doesn't it look sharp, kids? Hey, gamble responsibly, of course. Download the app, get involved. Origin specials on there. Round 14 action 2. It is absolutely flying at the moment. And, Gids, you keep that moustache on, mate. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty impressed with it. And I reckon by the time we get to November, in November, I reckon you might have a little bit of growth there.
Mate, that's only a good 6 months, mate.
Can you get the curl?
That's how long it's taken with this. Nah, mate, I can barely. I'd have to paint it, mate. I'll have to paint it to make sure it looks like it's growing.
And there's a little bit of a gap there in the middle, mate. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Can't grow anything.
Not one of my strongest points, mate. It's facial hair over my lifetime. So.
Hey, listen. Hey, happy birthday, mate. Happy 40th birthday.
Thanks,
You're
mate.
an absolute superstar, mate. And you still look absolutely pristine for a 40-year-old, mate. You can still be running around for the Newcastle Knights, mate. No mistake about it. And I reckon you can still nearly run around for the Blues, mate. And I reckon you jump at the chance if it come up. That is for sure. But Origin's going to be huge, kids. Have a great week and good luck and enjoy it, mate.
Thanks, matey. All the best. Go the Blues.